What contingencies are in a New Mexico real estate contract? What buyers moving to Santa Fe need to know. If you're planning to buy a home in Santa Fe or anywhere in New Mexico, you need to understand contingencies because these are the clauses in the contract that protect you. They are also the clauses that can make or break your offer. In fact, I've seen deals fall apart at every single one of these stages. So today, I'm going to walk you through all of the contingencies in a New Mexico residential purchase agreement, what they actually mean in real life, and how they impact your ability to win a home in a competitive market. And if you're relocating here, this is especially important because New Mexico handles some of these differently than other states. Let's get into it. What is a contingency? At its simplest, a contingency is a condition that must be met for the transaction to move forward. If that condition is not met, the buyer typically has the ability to terminate the contract and receive their earnest money back. Think of contingencies as your safety nets. But here's the trade-off. The more contingencies you have, the safer you are as a buyer, but the less attractive your offer becomes to a seller. So this is a balancing act. Let's start with the biggest one, the inspection contingency. Most contracts that terminate do so because of this contingency. This is your opportunity to fully investigate the condition of the property. This includes a general home inspection, roof, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and often additional inspections like radon or mold, depending on the property. Here's how it works. You conduct inspections during a defined period of time. If issues are discovered, you can request repairs, request a credit or a price reduction, or terminate the contract. And this is where many deals fall apart because sometimes the issues are more extensive than it's expected, or the buyer and the seller cannot come to an agreement on how to handle them. In Santa Fe specifically, because of our climate, you often see things like roof wear, stucco maintenance, and drainage issues come up. So this contingency is critical. Next is the appraisal contingency. If you're getting a loan, your lender will probably require an appraisal to confirm the value of the property. If the home does not appraise at or above the purchase price, you have a few options. You can negotiate the price, you can bring additional cash to the table, or you can terminate under the appraisal contingency. In competitive situations, some buyers choose to waive or limit this contingency, but that comes with risk because you are agreeing to cover a potential gap between the appraised value and the purchase price. This next one comes up often with relocation buyers. If you need to sell your current home in order to purchase here, you may include a buyer's sale contingency. This means your purchase is dependent on your home selling. From a seller's perspective, this weakens your offer, especially in a competitive situation. The strongest version of this contingency is when your home is already under contract and has successfully passed the inspection contingency. At that point, the risk to the seller is much lower. This next one that is becoming increasingly important is the homeowner's insurance contingency. In Santa Fe and northern New Mexico, wildfire risk is something insurance companies evaluate very closely. I'm seeing more contracts terminate because buyers are unable to secure acceptable insurance coverage, or the premiums are significantly higher than expected. This contingency allows you to confirm that you can obtain insurance on terms that are acceptable to you. If not, you have the ability to terminate. This is not something buyers were thinking about as much 5 or 10 years ago, but it is absolutely critical now. If the property has a septic system, this is handled separately from the general inspection contingency. In New Mexico, the seller is responsible for having the system pumped and inspected. And importantly, ownership cannot transfer without that inspection being completed through the New Mexico Environment Department. If issues are discovered, the seller is expected to remedy them at their cost. This is a very common contingency in Santa Fe, especially outside the city core. The title commitment contingency ensures that you are receiving clear title to the property. The title company will review the property history and identify any liens, easements, or restrictions. You have the opportunity to review that information. If something comes up that you are not comfortable with, you can object. And if it cannot be resolved, you may have the ability to terminate. If the property is part of a homeowners association or a condominium association, you will receive a package of documents. This includes rules, regulations, financials, and governing documents. This contingency allows you time to review those materials. You want to understand things like rental restrictions, architectural guidelines, the financial health of the association. If something in those documents does not align with your plans or expectations, you can terminate under this contingency. The survey, or improvement location report, confirms property boundaries and identifies any encroachments. This is especially important in Santa Fe, where lot lines, fences, and structures do not always align the way people assume. This contingency gives you the opportunity to review that information and address any concerns. Finally, the mortgage contingency. This protects you in the event that your loan is not approved. Even if you are pre-approved, there are still steps between pre-approval and final loan approval. If something changes in your financial situation or the loan cannot be finalized, such as if you were laid off 1 week before closing, this contingency allows you to exit the contract. Here is where this becomes more than just definitions. How you structure your contingency directly impacts your ability to win a home. In a competitive market, buyers often shorten contingency periods or make them more favorable to the seller. But every time you do that, you are taking on more risk. This is not about removing protections blindly. It is about understanding which risks are reasonable for you and which are not. So those are the key contingencies in a New Mexico residential purchase agreement: inspection, appraisal, buyer's sale, insurance, septic, title, HOA or COA, survey, and mortgage. Each one serves a purpose. Each one protects you in a different way. And how you use them is part of the strategy of writing a strong, competitive offer. If you are planning to buy in Santa Fe, this is not something you want to navigate on your own. I guide my buyers through every one of these steps so they understand exactly what they are agreeing to and how to position themselves to win without taking on unnecessary risk. If you're thinking about making a move, reach out. We can talk through your situation and build a strategy that works for you. And if this video was helpful, like and subscribe so you can continue learning how real estate in Santa Fe actually works. I'll see you in the next one.